Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today I'm going to be doing a digital bug deck profile. So I'm really excited for you guys because this was actually suggested to me by one of my patrons, Gloomba. This deck is a really interesting deck that uses your digital bug monsters to XZ summon out some really incredible boss monsters. I really love the way the deck plays because as you use your digital bug monsters to XZ summon, they give the XZ's monsters that they're used as materials for different added effects, which is a really interesting aspect of this deck. So without further ado, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards like getting your name description in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting your requested deck profile every single month to your patron along with test hands. And definitely give Gloomba some love down in the comments down below for suggesting such an awesome deck. So first off, we're playing 3 of the best digital bug monster in the entire deck. This card is absolutely crazy because it has the ability that it can't be used as XZ summon for the XZ summon of a monster except for an insect monster. And when you normal summon a level 3 insect monster, and you can special summon this card from your hand, and then you can make both this card and that monster become level 5 or 7. That helps us go into all sorts of crazy good digital bug monsters or some of our other tech monsters in the X deck. It also has the ability, if this card is special summoned from the hand, you can change the battle position of one insect monster that you control, and an XZ monster that was summoned using this card as a material gains 1,000 attack and defense, which is a great effect. We then play 3 copies of Digital Bug Web Soldier. Web Soldier is a great 3 of because it has the ability it can't be used to XZ summon an XZ monster except for an insect monster, which just about every single one of your digital bug monsters share that ability, which is extremely important to keep in mind. But this card also has a great effect that once per turn, you can target one face-up attack position monster you control, change it to defense position. If you do, special summon a level 3 insect monster from your hand in defense position. And an XZ monster that uses this card as a material gains the ability that if this card is XZ summon, you can the defense of all face-up monsters your opponent currently control becomes 0, and you change them to defense position, which is a great effect just to be able to change all of your opponent's monsters to defense position and drop their attack or drop their defense down to 0, so you can go through and go in for different plays and basically board wipe them with all of your digital bug monsters. We then play 3 copies of Digital Bug Cinnabits. Cinnabits is really good because this card has a great effect that it can't be used as the material except for an insect monster, but it also has the ability that once per turn, when this face-up card is changed from attack to defense position, you can special summon a level 3 insect monster from the deck in defense position, which is a great effect just to help you swarm the field a little bit. But if an XZ monster uses this card as a material, you can attack all defense position monsters your opponent controls once each, which is a great effect for this deck. We then play 3 of the Monster Reborn digital bug. This card has a great effect because it has the ability that once per turn, if this card is in attack position, you can target one level 3 insect monster in the grave, change this card to defense position, and then you can bring that card back to your side of the field in defense position. And then if you use this card as a material for an XZ summon, this card or that XZ monster attacks a defense position monster. Your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated until the end of the damage step, which is a really good effect just to be able to give you that added protection when you're attacking. We then play 3 copies of LED Bug, which is going to give us an additional draw, and I really like this card in the deck as a 3 of because it has the ability that if the monster that was XZ summoned using this card destroys a monster for battle, then you get to draw a card. But it also has the ability that once per turn, when this face-up card is changed from attack to defense position, then you can add one level 3 insect monster from your deck to your hand, which is a pretty good effect. We then play 3 copies of Galaxy Worm, which on normal summon, if you don't control another monster, you can special summon a level 3 or lower Galaxy monster to your side of the field, but it's always going to be a copy of Galaxy Worm because it's the only Galaxy monster we play in the deck. It's kind of basically a digital bug monster, but not in name, but it's a really good card for the deck as a 3 of because it is a great normal summon for the deck. We then play 3 copies of Twin Bow the Attacker, which is a Battle Wasp monster, and the only reason you're playing this card in the deck is because during your main phase you can special summon this card from your hand, but for the rest of the turn you can't summon anything from the X deck except for insect monsters, which is totally fine because the majority of the stuff we're going to be summoning from the X deck is going to be insects anyways. We then play 3 copies of Bee Trooper Scales. This card is a neat tech card in the deck, and I really like it as a 3 of because if an insect monster is normal or special summon to your field, then you can special summon this card from your hand, which is basically a Kage to Kage effect, which is really helpful. And then when a monster you control activates, or when a monster your opponent controls activates its effect, then you can quick effect tribute one insect monster and destroy that monster, which is a really good effect just to give you additional pops and give you another level 3 insect monster to summon to your field to XZ summon. We then play my personal attack of the deck, which is a single copy of Artifact Scythe, because I am playing a trap build of Digital Bugs, which is a really interesting way of playing this deck. So the copy of Artifact Scythe can be special summoned to your opponent's side, or to your side of the field, to stop your opponent from special summoning from the extra deck with your copies of Artifact Sanctum, so you play this card as a one-of. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells, which we actually don't play spells. So for the traps, we're going to be playing a single copy of Imperial Order. Imperial Order is to completely shut down your opponent's spell lineup, which is really important, especially since we don't play any spells in this deck. This card comes up it comes in very handy to be able to stop your opponent from activating any of their spell effects, and it can really shut down an opponent's board. We then play 3 copies of Trap Trick, because Trap Trick is basically here to stop the opponent, or not stop the opponent, but to get us additional traps on our side of the field, because basically you can banish any normal trap from the deck to be able to set one of the same name, but for the rest of the turn you can't activate anything but that one trap card, or one trap card on your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of the reason I'm playing this trap build, and that's 3 copies of Bug Emergency. This card is an incredible in-archetype card for the digital bug monsters, because it lets you target 2 level 3 insect monsters in your graveyard and special summon them, but their effects are negated, and you can banish this card and 1 XZ monster from the graveyard, and the levels of all of your level 3 insect monsters you currently control become equal to the banished monster's rank until the end of this turn. And also you can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except for insect type monsters, which is not that big of a deal because the majority of the time all you're going to be summoning is insect monsters anyways. We're then playing 3 copies of Artifact Sanctum. Artifact Sanctum is here to special summon out your copy of Artifact Scythe to shut your opponent from touching the extra deck. So this card comes in very handy in this particular build. We're then playing 3 copies of Dynamiscus, which you can actually discard a card to be able to target a card on the field and banish it, which is really good for this particular build because you're trying to just out certain cards. And this card can come up really handy, especially by discarding a copy of a digital bug and then normal summoning out the copy of the cocoon and then switching into defense and bringing that digital bug back to your side of the field, essentially making you an XZ play, which is really good. We then play 3 copies of Ice Dragon's Prison, because Ice Dragon's Prison can out a lot of cards in today's meta, especially being able to target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, bring it back to your field, but its effects are negated, and then you can banish a monster from both players' field that have the same type, which is a really great effect, especially if your opponent's playing Phoenix Enforcer or Dragoons. You can out them both with this card, which is really good, or you can just get a really powerful monster from your opponent's graveyard and put it on your field, which is really nice. So that's it for the traps, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of the Digital Bug Rank 7 Rhino. This card is a card that I have considered bumping down to 1. I did consider playing the Rank 7 Moth, which is a neat card over one of these, but it lets you attack directly, and I did think about playing it so I could summon out a Zeus a little bit easier in this deck, but for right now I'm just playing 2 copies of this. This card has a very unique ability that it does require 2 level 7 insect monsters to XZ summon into this card, and you can only XZ summon this card, or you can also XZ summon this card by detaching 2 materials from a rank 5 or 6 insect XZ monster that you control, and then using that monster as a material for the XZ summon of this card, which is really good. It also has the ability that this card attacks, it inflicts piercing damage, and then once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach a material from this card and then destroy the monster on your opponent's controls with the higher defense, or the highest defense, which is a really good effect to be able to just get you a pop as well. We then play 2 copies of Corbag. Corbag is really good in the deck because I like it as a 2-of because it's really easy to summon, because you basically just have to detach 2 materials from a level 3 or a rank 4 or rank 3 insect monster to XZ summon this card to your side of the field using that monster as a material. And then once per turn, you can detach a material from this card and then target 1 defense position monster opponent controls and shuffle it into the deck. And then once per turn, also it has the ability that if this card or if the battle position of a monster on the field is changed, then you can attach 1 insect monster from your graveyard to this card as a material, which helps you climb into your copy of your Rhino. We then play 2 copies of the rank 3 Digital Bug. I did consider playing this at 3, but I feel like 2 is fine with one of the other cards that we're playing in here, but it has the ability that you get to, once per turn during either player's turn, detach 2 materials from this card and then target one monster your opponent controls and change its battle position. And if you do, it has its effects negated until the end of this turn. And then once per turn, when this card destroys its opponent's monster of a battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can attach the destroyed monster to this card as a material, which does come up on this particular card quite often because you can boost it up to 2800 on summon really easily if you use the copy of your Strider on this particular card. We then played 2 copies of the Cicada King, number 3. This card is an incredible card in the deck, and one of the main cards that I'm summoning in this deck all the time. I did consider playing this card at 3, but I found 2 to be the best number because I never really summoned the third one. You will summon 2 of these very easily, but I didn't find the need for the third one. This card is a walking negate, which is really good, and it just basically, when it changes battle positions, it lets you special summon from your hand or graveyard an insect monster, which does come in really handy. We then played a single copy of Exostag, which is basically a rank 5 relinquished, being able to take an opponent's monster and attach it as an equip card to this card, letting it gain half of the attack points of that monster, which is a really good effect. We then play a single copy of Zeus for the off chance you will get to board wipe with this card. It does come up every so often in the deck, which is why I play this card as a 1-up. I'm then playing a single copy of Access Code, which I did consider actually changing out for the B Trooper Link 4 because it will come up in the deck sometimes that you won't be able to special summon anything but insect monsters. So I did consider actually playing the B Trooper Link 4 in this particular position. So if you want to change it out, you definitely can. But I did play this card as a 1-of in here to give me additional pops. We then play a single copy of Unicorn to spin stuff. 1 copy of Seraphim Pavillon. This card is really, really good in the deck because it is a insect Link 3. And if this card is Link summoned, you can place a counter on it for each insect monster used as a material. And then quick effect, it also has the ability to remove a counter from this card, special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard that is an insect monster into defense position. You play a single copy of the Insect Shinobi because it is a insect Link monster and it does come in handy. And then we play a single copy of the B Trooper Armor Horn. I'm just playing it as a 1-of in here because it has the ability to, me as this card resolves, I get an additional normal summon of an insect monster. So I do use this card to kind of climb into the next insect, the Link 3. So it does come up every so often in the deck. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. It's a really fun deck to play around with. I really like the way that it plays, and really being able to basically rank up using your insect monsters just by detaching 2 materials is really neat without using the rank up magic spells. I really like that effect, and it's really, really fun. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.